Well, hello and welcome to another video. Today I'm discussing my first experience with a BYD Shark. So this is a plug-in hybrid from BYD, and it's more like a ute than a SUV. And if it were to be an SUV, it's like a big SUV because it does have a similar seating structure, like two in front, three in the back. And they are very spacious. They are very high when it comes to the sitting structure of it. So the first cars that were launched in Australia were BYD Dolphin along with BYD Atto 3. Now compared to those cars, this feels a bit more, I think, subtle when it comes to interior design. It's a bit more premium, especially the sound system in this car. Along with, it does have a display in front of the windscreen. The screen looks a bit more sharper. The steering column does have a better design with a bit more features. And being a 4x4 sort of off-roader style ute, this car does have terrain feature as well as a lot of other things, including tailgate, which opens up from inside. And obviously it does have a way more storage when it comes to outright space. But that's the thing about a ute style, right? Because this space at the back is not covered. You can obviously get a shelf or get a cage designed for it, but not too sure how secure these are, given there's a lot of thefts that are happening in Australia right now and utes, so you won't be able to comfortably leave even your toolkit in the back or things like that, especially if you're parking this car outside, which would be the case for most garages because it's too big. And I've rarely seen people parking utes inside their garage. But talking about the overall driving experience, I've just had it for less than half an hour. It's a replacement car for my BYD Atto 3 when I gave that one up for servicing. But it does have a bigger and better screen instrument cluster in front of me along with this better screen, and it doesn't have as many flashy things on the interior design. This does have a bit of an orange accent here, which is like up to your taste, but it's not too bad. The music system is quite impressive, and being a ute, it's a high sitting structure, so it does have a lot of places you can actually hold. If you're getting in the car, there's a foot pedal which allows you to get inside and outside the car, and there's one thing you can hold on here, one on here. There's even one down in the gear cluster sort of situation. So there's a lot of pivot points or points where you can actually hold even while you are sitting as a passenger, or especially when you're driving. And that's quite handy. And the display in front of me, which is like the augmented reality or not too sure what you call them, I'll put it on the screen here, but it's very clear, it's very sharp, and it shows information including your current speed limit, your cruise control, as well as if you've engaged the lane keeping assist. And that sort of information is quite good when you want to just drive, because you would be able to see your current speed without looking down at your instrument cluster. You can still look at the windscreen and see all that information there, which is quite handy and useful. And that's one of the features which none of my other cars do have, so I do appreciate it and find it more useful. This doesn't have a roof that opens up for more light, but nonetheless, this is a high riding car, which means that you get a different viewpoint from my normal driving situation, which I sort of like. I don't mind sitting higher in a SUV to see more of the road and get more of a feeling of more control. Although this feels faster than my BYD Atto 3 for sure. Cancel. As you just heard, BYD's system of like voice assistant is quite good and quick to respond. which is annoying when you're trying to review a car, but it's very useful when you're actually trying to just drive the car normally. As far as the drive is concerned, it's very quiet, and I'm currently driving just in EV mode. It is showing me 92% charge. The fuel range is 376 kilometers. It seems like half charged. So I believe with the combination, it's showing 460 kilometers, which means I almost have like 90 kilometers of EV range, which is quite a decent range when you consider that it's a ute. That too can be used for a bit of an off-roading sort of scenario, and in all those scenarios I think it's quite a useful thing. Looking inside the car, there's obviously electronic seat adjustment back forth, and it does have lumbar support, which is missing in my BYD Etta 3. It does have a similar structure here of folding the mirrors, choosing left and right, and then adjusting it, locking the windows, and a music system out there. It does have like soft cushion on this side with bit of soft accent here as well. Even this is soft, like whatever leather or fake leather they're using, it's here as well. The only hard plastic you would see is down there, which is fine. The door bins seems decent size. It would be able to hold your half a liter to 1 liter bottle easily, not 2 liters. So this is the instrument cluster. These are the pivot points I was telling you about. As you can see, they are quite solid, rugged, and it does have a 50-watt charger wireless, which is quite good. It does have a really nicely designed gear shifter with a start-stop button, which seems like a copy from a sports car like a Lamborghinis or Ferraris or things like that. It does have quite a decent set of seats. They are comfortable. I've not driven them enough to comment on it more, but they feel different and nice. Now there it says NFC. I believe you can use the NFC card to drive the vehicle if you are using one. This does have a sensor over here which tells you about the fatigue and all the other stuff, and that's the, I think, heads-up display, that's what you call it. And let's see if you can actually spot it. Yeah, from this angle it's quite visible. And as you can see, the 40 on the left is the speed limit. My cruise limit is 30, which I've not said yet because I just switched on the car. And looking at the instrument cluster, this is all the information that this provides. Let me quickly put on the seat belt so this warning goes off. Now it should go off. Now if you were playing any song, it'll play here. Battery percentage, total distance, your tire pressure, time, status of the car, all the rest of the stuff. The screen is, as I said, quite nice and big. It does have all the features that you usually would have. It's a demo version, so I think they've not activated the maps yet, so I'm not sure how that will work. So let's leave at that. You can lock the car from here, I believe. Yeah. And it does have a lot of other things that you can do. You can fold and unfold the mirrors from here. You can do seat heating. It does have seat ventilation in the front, which is good. Let's try that out. Although I'm wearing a jacket, but I should still be able to feel how cold the seats get and how good it is. But nonetheless, it's an impressive system, especially for a ute, like considering all the other options that you might have in a ute style of vehicle. This is a really good. And it does have some ute specific features over here, which would be your hill descent and things like that, which obviously if you are into utes and off-roading, you would know more about it than me currently. I know this is your electronic stability. You can switch it off. If you're stuck in sand or things like that, you might be able to use it. Hill descent, your parking indicators or emergency indicators rather, a switch to do EV and hybrid EV mode, switch to start and stop the car, to open the your not tailgate, whatever you call that, tray thing, and a button to enable and disable auto hold, which is if you stop the car and you don't need to hold the brake for it not to move forward, this is that option. And as far as other things are concerned, it should have a vanity mirror sort of situation. Same would be on that passenger side. So overall, it's quite impressive when it comes to the interior things. I was hoping it to have your regular moon window or sunshade situation going on with a sunroof, but then again, the practical use of this vehicle is off-roading and all the things that you do in a ute. So in that case, that might not be that practical because the environment you find yourself in a ute might not support to have a non-covered roof. So in that case, this is perfect. It does have a place where you can just stand to get out, which is nice. And that's what I'm saying, like it's quite nice, quite big for space-wise, but it's open. It does have pivot points, it does have a charger which you can use. You click it twice to open this up. It does have very nice cushion when it opens up, but there's no electric closing on this one, so you have to physically close it. There's a 360-degree camera out there. It's a DMO all-wheel drive version of BYD Shark 6. It's very sharp, like it's very nice looking from inside and outside. And I haven't had a chance to sit in the back yet, but this is what it looks like. As far as looks are concerned, I don't mind getting a car which looks like this. And this must be the fuel thing. It must be opening from inside, but there would be a electric charging thing as well, which I believe one of them would be electric charging. There it is. You can use your typical DC charger as well as AC charger to charge it. And from the looks of it, you would be able to see how much it's charged by these indicators. Now, just sitting at the back, as let's see what this car does have to offer. Again, you can sit here, you can hold the pivot point or holding point. I'm not too sure why I'm calling it a pivot point. I think you can use this bit for a coat hanger. And there's enough and ample space. There's pockets. You can easily seat 3 people here. And there's an armrest that comes down. Even with, I believe, a child seat, you would be able to easily use this car as your daily commute, as long as you're willing to sacrifice the ability to store your stuff safely in the boot. Because as I said, there's no, by default at least, there's no option for you to get a covered boot or a lockable system. But it does seem to be quite a decent package. So if I were to buy a car like this, I thought initially that I would want something like fully electric, but thinking about it, like if I were to buy a ute which I want to use to go long distances or things like that, then I'd rather have it not be fully electric and just a plug-in hybrid, because in that case I would be able to use it for a lot more like purposes, including going further distances, especially considering that I already own 2 electric cars. And ideally, I would just be replacing one of them with this. Like, I don't see myself buying 2 or 3 cars just for the sake of it. And in that case, this would make sense to be like not fully electric and a plug-in hybrid. But saying that, the initial impressions from like half a day of keeping this car, it feels like a decent option if you want to just try out electric driving without fully committing to it. Although if you're going beyond 100 kilometers or let's say 60, 70, because I'm sure, although it says 100 kilometers range or 90-kilometer range, it wouldn't be giving that range entirely. So in that case, I wouldn't be too sure to just say that, a BYD Shark or any plug-in hybrid from BYD or any other manufacturer for the matter would give you exactly the range that they claim. And that's been my first impression. I'll let you know if there's anything else which I find interesting about this vehicle, or share my experience about the entire day of using it, and would I ever buy a plug-in hybrid looking and driving this car, or are there any concerns? So yeah, that's enough for this video, and let me know if you already own a BYD Shark or if you were planning to buy one, and what would be your reasons to try one or to avoid one. I reply to all my comments, and I look forward to seeing you in my comment section. Otherwise, take care, and I'll see you in the next one. The quality of the camera is really disappointing. Like, it's usable, but even compared to my BYD Atto 3, which is like a way older car than this, I believe that does have higher quality camera system or 360-degree camera system. But other than that, it's usable. It's like it's good enough in the sense of figuring out where the car is, but the low quality display of the camera, or the camera resolution itself, because the display itself is quite nice and wide and big, but I think it's the camera feedback that's quite low, which is sort of I wasn't expecting it to be the case in a car like this, where everything else, including the front display, is so high-tech. Even this display, like right now, is really good and nice, but just the camera system is a bit lacking a bit of clarity and the resolution.